Hi, I'm Erin Riley,
And I'm Susie Rutkowski.
and welcome to State of Project Search 2020, Part 2. If you haven't seen the first section, we talked about the data from the years 2018-19, and we also gave a bit of a COVID update. And in Part 2, Susie will be talking about new tools and resources that we're releasing, as well as a curriculum and our new teaching and training for success modules. So I am happy to turn it over to Susie for the remainder of this section. Take it away.
All right, thanks, Erin. So each year we look at evidence from our database and feedback from all of our teams, and we release at least one new resource intended to improve Project Search. And we make it available to you at no additional cost. We often subcontract these resources from experts in the disability community, or we pull experts from our own wonderful teams around the world. All of these resources are available only through the member portal, which means only those of you that are on your team, that are listed on your site in the member portal, have to be able to be on there to access these resources. So it's kind of a shout out to your teams to say, get people on, get all of your skills trainers and your VR counselors and your DD folks. It's okay, the more the merrier.
Can I add something here, Suze?
Please.
I think sometimes when you're you're on the portal and you're putting data in, there's kind of this belief that, well, they don't need to see the data, or they're not going to be putting data in, so why would we add them? But it's a place to keep all your team members. And like Susie said, if they're not listed as one of your partners, then they can't look at anything else. And the data is only one small piece. You know, it's VoteFit, it's the curriculum, it's the chat room, it's the videos, it's the trainings. And so you want all your staff, all your team, everybody on your team to be able to see all those things, which means you have to invite them to the portal and list them as one of your team members. So please, please do that as soon as possible.
So in 1984, Paul Wayman said that people with disabilities who lose their jobs do so because of lack of skills. I'm going to start again. Paul Wayman said that people with disabilities who lose their jobs do so not because of lack of skills, but because of challenging social behaviors. We all know that's true. Our employment data bears that out, that one of the primary reasons graduates lose their jobs is because of inappropriate social and relationship skills. So as a result, we wrote a grant to bring in a national relationship and sex educator expert, Catherine McLaughlin. We asked her to create a course that's tailored to the needs of our interns and our Project Search business sites. After many edits, it's almost ready for release, and it'll be available to all team members very soon on the portal. Of all the resources, I think I'm most excited about this because it's an area where our staff doesn't have expertise, but Catherine and her team does. She's the author. She's a nationally recognized sex educator and trainer. There will be 12 lessons, and some of the kind of prominent features are sex identity, levels of different kind of relationships, everything from stranger all the way to sweetheart and partner, what happens publicly, what happens privately. And again, this is going to be available on the Project Search member portal in August.
How much does it cost?
It doesn't cost anything if you're on the member portal.
Or a part of one of our teams.
There will be lesson plans. There'll be handouts, and most recently we decided to add PowerPoints for every lesson so that it makes it easier for our instructors and skills trainers to bring this lesson to you. We will have a few hard copies of the book, but I think for everyone it's going to be great that it's going to be available electronically. Also, it's going to have some strategies for our business and business liaisons, managers, and mentors to reinforce these concepts. And then kind of last but not least, we're going to have a 20-minute digital training available this fall that gives you background on this and kind of reinforces why and how to present this. And part of that training will include an interview with Catherine. So again, super excited about that curriculum. And that's something that all of you could begin your year with, especially if you're doing virtual. You could start with those 12 lessons, and then when you go back into your host business, hopefully you might want to reinforce some of these lessons as they start some of their internships. And if you're at all worried about any kind of relationship issues, or you just want to reinforce what you've already taught. The next resource that we want to talk about is Health Matters. Now, some of you have already heard a little bit about that or have used it, but we want to talk about it again. So research indicates that health and wellness positively impacts our ability, everyone's ability to gain and maintain employment. Dr. Beth Marks, who's a disability and health expert, has spent her whole life working against the assumption that if you have a disability, you must be inherently unhealthy. Her goal was to provide a tool to help people with disabilities understand their own health and become self-advocates for their own health and fitness. In Cincinnati, our employed graduates have experienced multiple health crises, including death. Together with Dr. Marks, we wrote a grant to the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council, and for the past 4 years, we've been working with her and many of our Ohio teams to field test her curriculum called Health Matters. We have a study team that's been diligently working, including our own Mary Ellen Daston, Karen Guo, Julie Christensen, and Beth Marks and Jasmina Cicerik from the University of Illinois, where Beth is located. It's a picture of the book right there and Beth's picture as well. We know that health and fitness is vital for successful employment. Transition to adulthood is a critical period for establishing those healthy lifestyles. The Health Matters curriculum is an evidence-based tool for promoting health and fitness in the population served by Project Search. The guidelines for using Health Matters with the Project Search sites will be available in the member portal this fall. That's the first time it's been available that way. The lesson plans will use the same format as the new Project Search Employability Skills curriculum, which we'll get into in a minute. And the guidelines integrate Health Matters into Project Search while keeping a focus on employment and the link between good health and employment success. So thanks to Mary Ellen and Beth and their whole team for making this available to us. This was one of the lessons that was done at Upper Valley Medical Center in Ohio. This was really cool because they used one of their career tech programs at the Upper Valley Career Center with students that were in a health and wellness program teaching fitness to their Project Search program there at Upper Valley Medical Center. So that was really cool. And then the Ohio teams had last spring a 5K race with a lot of the different teams using Health Matters coming together with a 5K on the campus of the Upper Valley Medical Center in their wonderful yellow shirts. All right, this next one is something that we are going to work on during the year, that our team is. So we want to talk about the impact of adverse experiences. LaShonda Sugg is a therapist and consultant in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we know that COVID has been difficult for everyone, ourselves as well as our interns. And it's been traumatic experience for everyone. Due to this experience, we will begin to work with LaShonda Sugg, a national expert on trauma and adverse experiences. She believes that all of us are impacted by the adverse experiences and those experiences that impact our brain, the body, and behavior. In Project Search, it will be important to address these issues within ourselves as well as those we support. In the coming year, LaShonda will train our national team to work more effectively in a post-COVID world. We will also bring her to next year's conference for a training on trauma and adverse experiences. Thanks, LaShonda. The Project Search Academy. So some of you have used the Academy, we hope, especially for training new staff that might not have been hired yet as they accessed or participated in the 2-day overview. So we currently have 7 videos in the staff training section of the portal. These 7 videos teach the fundamentals of Project Search. Beginning this year, we partnered with the Commission on Rehabilitation Counselor Certification, or you might know it as CRCC, and we offer 2 hours of continuing education credit if you watch 6 of those 7 videos. And again, each of those videos is about 20 minutes.
So
right
Susie,
now,
the credit though, that's a new thing for us.
we just started it last spring, and already we've been giving out certificates to those people, especially VR counselors, skills trainers, job developers who need continuing education credits to keep up their certificates.
Yeah, there's no cost to you at all. Project Search is picking up the tab for this as a way of making a valuable resource available to all of our team members. So we hope you'll take advantage of this.
And as we said before, they're on Project Search Fundamentals. Right now, we're working to create 5 advanced courses. We're working with some experts from around the world to develop courses that meet needs indicated, again, by your feedback, database evidence, and working with you each. We are going to continue to add new courses as part of continuous improvement. So these new Academy videos are visual supports by the team by Next for Autism and Dr. Patricia Wright. We talked about the next one, Building Healthy Relationships at Work by Catherine McLaughlin. Health Matters by Dr. Beth Marks. Vote Fit by our own Drs. Cleary and Persh. And then this last one, we'll be working on creating a welcoming environment, guidance for our business partners. So our business liaisons, managers, and mentors, some work with them. And those will be available throughout the 2021 school year. Longitudinal data.
Yeah, so as most of you know, we introduced our database in 2016 as a way for us to capture information about employment outcomes and to hold ourselves accountable. You can't know how you're doing unless you're measuring. And it's really key to Project Search to allow us to have continuous improvement. However, in order to improve our program, it's really necessary not only to understand whether or not our interns get jobs, get careers, but to understand how long they keep those jobs, and if they lose them, why they lose them, and if they keep them, are they seeing changes in salary, hours, and titles? And so we launched the longitudinal database. We're not reporting on it this cycle because we just have 1 year's data, which certainly is not longitudinal. And so next, we won't begin reporting anything until next year. Right now, our team is working with your teams to teach folks how to use it. There does need to be a person assigned to that. So it became operational on February 21, 2020. But we need your help and your continued work to load the data and make it operational. If you're not already familiar with it, please reach out to the program consultant you've been working with and set up a time to talk so that she can walk you through the longitudinal database. We can even do this for your steering committees, for your planning teams, anyone that you'd like. It'd be great to show folks what we can do.
We can also do it for state meetings, Erin?
Absolutely. State meetings, regional meetings, you name it, we're willing to do it.
Because this data is so important to our work and how we can figure out not just how to get jobs, but how to keep those jobs long term. A little bit more information. All right, resource guide. Oh my gosh. So we're really excited about this. So hopefully many of you have used the documents in the resource guide, but as you know, it's a compilation of documents that assists you to prepare for and implement Project Search. So we've used this time while we are working from home to update and streamline the resource guide. So if you've ever counted, there are about 600 documents in the resource guide, and we realize that bigger is not always better. So we've divided the resource guide into kind of two sections to start with: critical documents and supplemental materials. So we've spent the last couple months going through the critical documents, updating them, and making sure that they are available to you. There's about 60 of those that we feel are the most critical and the things that will guide you to plan and implement the best project search possible. And they should be available around September 1, 2020, so just in a month or so. The supplemental materials are next on our to-do list for our staff, and we'll be tackling that in the fall. As part of our revision, we're also developing a new indexing system, so they'll be streamlined into 6 categories where before they were many more categories. So look for that right around Labor Day. All right, employability skills curriculum, probably one of my favorite things that we're working on right now. So for those of you that don't know, my background is certainly education, and I was in public education for 35 years. So when Erin asked me to start working on this, I was pretty darn excited. As we know, especially for our instructors, every curriculum should be updated every 3 to 5 years, and we're about at that 4 to 5 year mark. Feedback from our instructors actually talked about a desire for more direction and more guidance in the curriculum and lesson plans. So as our very first step, right before COVID, I was able to go to Notre Dame University and work with a national expert in instructional design, Dr. Claire Kilbane. And we looked at a new curriculum framework and philosophy, and that was our first step. Kind of thinking about what is our curriculum all about? What's the message that we need to send to our educators and our whole team? Next, probably the most exciting part, is we put together an international team of about 20 people, project search instructors across the country and 4 from the UK. They have different skill sets in terms of some are really, really great in technology, some are really great using VocFit. We have one of our UK instructors, numeracy and literacy is her specialty. So we're really blessed with this great team that we have. And one of our first goals with that group was looking at our existing units, objectives, and activities, revising those, adding some new material, combining some new material, and in fact, we added a whole new unit, and we gave a lot of direction to the 3-week orientation period at the beginning of the year. Our next goal was to create a new lesson plan format. It is actually pretty lengthy, but it looks at several different areas. It looks at pre-planning, it looks at the lesson plan itself, then it looks at a reflection period, and then all the kind of additional resources and citations and things like that. So once we came up with that, we divided the group into areas that they are particularly excited about, and we are starting now to develop lesson plans in the 9 different units. It's going to be an intense process. All of these instructors are working for free to do this in addition to their typical teaching requirements. So this is going to be lasting throughout this entire school year. So I want to give a shout out to our curriculum work group. And I want you to see their names and where they're from. And you can see the fact that they're from all over the country. It's our first group and our second group. We meet a couple times a month and we do homework in between. So again, just really excited about this group. And Erin and I said earlier that we've got our matching jackets on, and I don't know that you can see, but mine talks about the curriculum work group. So does Erin's. So we, again, just want to say how excited we are for this group. The next part, once we get started a little bit better flow on our lesson plans, we are going to be working with Drs. Cleary and Persh from VocaFit to look at the most commonly identified emerging skills. And if you're familiar with VocaFit, you know those are the yellow skills on the VocaFit job matching report. And we're doing some research right now to see which ones of those are the most common, and those skills are going to be incorporated into the curriculum and the lesson plans as we identify those. All right, teaching and training for success. Wow. So we have had teaching and training for success as part of our initial training to become a project search site for many, many years.
Yeah, long time.
Long time. And so again, using COVID as kind of our time, we have time now that we're all working from home. Our national team felt it was time to update teaching and training for success and find ways to deliver it virtually. So we looked at the agenda and the curriculum for teaching and training, and we broke it down into 8 two-hour modules that can be delivered either virtually, or we hope someday to deliver it in person, together, or in different groupings. The goal of this remains to teach and reinforce the concepts that are key to running a successful project search program.
I actually think, Susie, you know, what we've done with teaching and training for success makes it not only key, but better than it's ever been in terms of teaching those concepts, being clear that we're teaching them, making sure that all of our teams get them, and we will be able to deliver them in a way that works for everybody.
Right. So these are the 8 modules: the transition from school to project search to employment, collaboration and communication, VocaFit, internship development, preparing for internship training, internship fundamentals, employment planning meetings, and aspirational job development. And if you are interested in these, you can contact your national program consultant and can think about doing them virtually, and maybe sometime soon we'll be able to actually travel again and come to our sites and do them in person.
So I think that's all for part 2. I just want to recap a bit. You know, when you're in project search, or you're part of the, a project search program, you pay that initial license fee, and that's a one-time cost. And then each year there is an additional $300 cost, and that $300 goes to offset the portal, the database, and what we have to spend to keep those systems up and running. And what you get in return is that we're constantly looking at our existing programs, we're looking at the evidence, and we're working on how we can be better. So we believe in continuous improvement. We believe we can never rest on our laurels. We know we must always be striving so that we have 100% employment for every one of our interns, and that's what we do. So today, Susie just listed some of the new programs that we're going to launch and make available to you on the portal at no additional cost. And we'll keep those programs coming over the years. We hope you use them and that you find them of value, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you very much, and look forward to part 3. You did great.